feeling since the launch yesterday and the not so long, we won't say how long that we've known that this is happening, but not that long. But it feels beyond time for us to have a representative again.
Yeah.
A bonus that we can have somebody who is going to show up, work hard, listen, and go help fight the bullies in Congress so that we can keep our communities safe and we can take back what we want to have. And we're thrilled that Tom has answered the call to do that because we know that he will go fight, we'll know he'll go do the hard things, and we need to win, and we're going to win. And so that's without further ado, Tom, come on up.
Woo!
Good evening. Who's ready to flip the 5th district of Virginia? Thank you to Mr. Gilmore and Miss Jackson for entertaining us along with the rest of the band. I can't thank you all enough for being out here tonight. We have wanted to send a very, very loud signal across this community, across Central and Southside Virginia and beyond, that this community wants the representation that it deserves. We know that in Virginia, every year is an election year.
No, you're fine.
Charlottesville and Albemarle has to dig deep and its surrounding counties to help get folks across the line. And what I want to believe is that in addition to making sure we have great statewide candidates and the rest, that we have the kind of federal partner that this community deserves. That when our university and a large employer here and a great institution is being turned into a political punching bag, that our member of Congress should be present. They should be standing up for our values and our community. We should have folks who are trying to bring us together. Into the microphone.
Can't hear you.
Thank you. We can see. I'm out of practice.
There you go.
Thank you so much. We have a chance, I believe, to do two things at the same time. When I started out in politics with a little more hair, we were talking about hope and change. We were daring to believe in a better America, a better community. And with that, we tried to go bring down the cost of health care, pass climate legislation, and much more. And I got back into politics in 2017, not out of a place of hope and change, but honestly because of fear. Because we had a racial demagogue who'd been elected, and we saw people who understood in our communities what that attack meant. And we saw that resistance rise in communities like this one, with women across the country, communities of color calling out and demanding dignity and protection. What I think we have a chance to do right now is something that's going to be tough. It is going to be tough, which is that I believe we need to be able to do both things at the same time. I think right now we must continue to resist with great vigilance these horrific attacks on our values, on our Constitution, on our civil liberties, on our neighbors. But we must do that while we dare to have the courage again to hope. We dare to have the courage to imagine the Charlottesville we want to build, the Central Virginia we want to build, the Virginia we want to build, and the America we want to build.
Yeah.
As many have said, yes. Joy itself can be a form of resistance. Dreaming can be a form of resistance. And that has to coexist with a stark reality that we are living in dark times. We are living at times where our rights are under threat. We're living at times where people around here who are working 1 job, 2 jobs, can't afford to pay their electric bills. They can't afford to pay their grocery bills. They can't afford to pay for housing and health care. That a single mom is going to spend more money on child care than they're going to make at a minimum wage job or above. This is not a system that works. It's not the system of the American dream that we know can be true and present here in this community. And I think it's difficult to keep both of these truths present. And I ask in this campaign that you work with me to find a way to do both things. You know that I will not budge on the principles of our Constitution and our civil liberties. You know that I will never take corporate PAC money or anything that has been for my priorities. Be informed by your priorities. That means showing up, and it means listening. I know so many people in this room work in the trenches of our communities with people who often don't get the chance to be heard, don't get the chance to shape policy. You will have failed me if you do not make sure that I am hearing those voices, present with those voices, accountable to those voices. That's what I ask of you. Yes, we need to get across the finish line on the win, but we also need to win in the way that makes everybody feel like they have ownership over this victory. That we can start to think in the outward. We have seen a community rise up when we were invaded by hate. We've seen a community remain resilient through these times. Right now, I believe that we have a chance to win this race and put the 5th District back in the hands of the people of this community. Someone asked me yesterday why I thought it was a good idea to jump off this cliff. And I said that I knew if I jumped, there were hundreds of people ready to jump behind me. And I realized... I realize that's not the best metaphor. This is what we need to do together. I think we've begun to see there are some people on the other side of this fight who are starting to regret what they voted for. There are people in the middle who are sick and tired of someone like John McGuire who doesn't show up in our community, who doesn't defend our institute, who doesn't defend our
You need a new
we got
microphone.
it. We got it. We're getting there, guys.
Get a different one.
We have this chance to have that representation. It is a moment, and I will admit, I was not in the most proactive space of my life before Election Day, because seeing the way in which some of these forces of darkness and evil were controlling so much and seemed to be consolidating so much power. And one of the reminders we had on election night is that voters are ready to vote for good leaders when good leaders show up. So much of democracy is about who steps up. And I believe we have people across Central Virginia and Southside Virginia that are ready to be part of this. Now, you know, because you know the drill every time, what we need. We need you knocking doors. We need you talking to your neighbors. We need your small donations. We need your big donations. We need you engaging with people who may have given up on politics for reasons we all understand. For us to do this, when we did it before, we started 36 points behind in the polls. And we were able to overcome that by the gigantic margin of 727 votes. And I have been able to say without any sense of hyperbole that every vote matters. We're going to leave no vote behind. We know right now that we need to speak and engage people about the fact that they cannot afford to live in the communities where they work. They are living in fear of masked agents coming into our communities with no sense of due process or dignity for the people around us. We are going to be a team, not just me. I can be the face of that, I can be the front of that, but we are going to link arms and show that together this is who we are. And that we is a broader we. And so I believe that we have an opportunity here to do something very, very special. And I'm going to just end with one other note, which is we have challenges coming beyond Donald Trump. So I am very clear. The very last act of this term, when you send me to Washington, the very last act will be to certify someone not named Donald J. Trump as the president. Conclusion that everyone is going to play by the rules of accepting that is where we are headed in 2028. That is a baseline. But I also want us ready for what comes the day after. I want us thinking about the kind of opportunity and equality and civil liberties that we want to restore in the wake of that. I want to be able to go and hold accountable those who are doing damage across our community. And here, that means building a policy agenda. I'm not naive. I know policy doesn't win elections. But we want to win a mandate that allows us to go up to Congress and deliver the kind of results for families that matter. And this is where I do think one of the things you all allowed me to do that has stuck with me for a long time is you all helped me do the right thing when I was in Congress. It was true. There were a lot of people who thought the vote for the Affordable Care Act was controversial. But I knew how many people it was going to affect. Tens of thousands of people in our communities were going to be able to get access to care. They were going to have pre- and postnatal care covered. They were going to have the young people and their families stay on their care. And over the years, particularly when I'm in Southside Virginia, the number of people who've come up and started to appreciate that vote has increased. The number of people who feel like it helped to hold the insurance companies accountable, felt like it was important to have somebody who could stand up to those corporate interests in insurance companies in D.C. And the reason I had the courage to do that was my family, it was my friends, and it was all of you always being present to tell me what was most important, which is the people in our community. Being asked to represent all of you is an incredible honor that I take very seriously, and it is not an easy thing to do. But you know that I'm going to do it with hard work, I'm going to do it with integrity. We've had some great people. I see Adele here who've been out knocking doors and making a difference. David Toscano earlier here. I'm going to shout outs of who I didn't shout out to. We have folks that are protecting those under attack in our community. So here's what I just want to say. The last 24 hours is just the beginning. We are going to build this energy from the grassroots up. We are going to fight for every vote we can in this district. We are going to show people that they are seen, that they are heard, that there are better days ahead. And we are going to do so with our eyes wide open about exactly what we're up against, not just in the 5th District, but across the country. So I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Oh, I got to give one other shout out. My mother. Yeah. That's really all I have to say. Everyone I call, how's your mother? But thank you, Sally, Catherine, Paige, and others who helped put this together, the folks who are performed here. And I'm going to be clear about where we are. Yes, we launched the campaign yesterday, but we have every intention of rolling out in January with the kind of spread across this entire district where we are going to ensure that we are engaging people that agree with us and those that may not agree with us yet. And so what we need you today is to commit to being part of this movement, part of this campaign, part of this effort. Be sure to sign up before you go. There you go, Paige. Yes, excellent. Pediatrician of the Year in Charlottesville, Paige. Please commit something. You also know the drill. You need to talk to 10 friends tonight. We are trying to show the enthusiasm from this community to the TCCC, to everyone around. And what we can say is getting those small donations in, reaching out to your friends, and Green, Fluvanna, and elsewhere to spread that word is so important. So I just want to close by saying thank you. Close by saying that you guys, I can't do this without you. That's really the most important message. So we are going to fight for an agenda that brings down costs, brings up wages, and tries to bring some sanity back to this democracy. We are going to control we're going to focus on the ability to go out and work on policies that matter to people, whether that's healthcare or housing or transportation costs. So what I want from all of you is everything. I really want you to commit to that for the months ahead, and together I think we can do something even more transformative than what we did before. So thank you for having me back. We are going to win this seat. We are going to win this district.